totally unworthy adversary. Have you seen this mental patient? So she's on the cover of New York Mag. Here's what happened, I think. This woman, she was a cheerleader when she was young in the 60s. Then she became a columnist for Elle magazine. I think she has mental illness. But you don't really need to be sane to write for Elle magazine. Just say girly stuff that is slightly unusual, like women have rape fantasies. Say something outside the box like that is linked to truth, and people go, I like her, she's fun. Like women read the articles in Elle anyway. So she's got a history of being a complete nut bar, and I think she said, hey, when I was at a store 23 years ago, find the New York Magazine cover of her. When I was in a store 23 years ago, Trump molested me. And then she's got a book out, coincidentally. And instead of the DNC being dubious, this goes back to what I was saying about truth. They're so desperate for ammunition that they go, fine, let's do it. Yeah. So the story is that she's in a changing room dressed like that, and Trump jumps on her like a St. Bernard in heat and starts humping her and possibly ejaculates. She doesn't know. And she saw it as an asexual assault that was technically sexual. What? And they're so desperate for evidence that he's an evil rapist, and they want to win so bad that they just grab this mental patient, put her on the front page of New York Magazine, and bombard her with advice, and let's get you on the news. And I'm sure she was just like, what's happening now? Like if you took a homeless woman who was on the train, and she's like, crack is stupid. And they're like, we need you to run this Black Lives Matter conference. And she's like, what's happening? And they sit her on a pedestal and brush out her dreads and give her a microphone and a Michael Kors dress. And she's just like, hi, I just think crackers suck. And they're like, that's great. Keep with that. Keep going with that. Okay, burn them all. What now? And then inevitably what happens is they start going, yeah, she's a little more nuts than we thought. Actually, I heard this happen with Rosa Parks. I heard there was a woman before Rosa Parks who was arrested for being on the back of the bus. And they go, perfect, let's make you the head of this movement. And she's like, good, because these motherfuckers need to die. I'm sick of these white cracker bastards fucking around. And they go, whoa. That's a little too harsh. And then they go, yeah, actually, we're not using you anymore. And they shoot her away. And then they got Rosa Parks, who's much more sophisticated. I have a theory, by the way, that Rosa Parks might just be an Indian and not really black at all.
Yeah, she doesn't look very black, this Rosa.
No, and nor do her parents. And you know how when black women straighten their hair, there's a little kink here? There's no kink for her.
She's an octoroon, right?
I don't know what she is. I think she might be a Cherokee or something. That could be an Indian, no problem. Don't you think?
Yeah. I'm seeing it.
I know a lot of Indians. And they look like that. Anyway.
It's kind of Spanish there, too.
Yeah, a bit of Spanish. So, do I have the New York Post thing?
Yep.
Wait, are these old notes?
Bam!
I think I printed these out too soon.
Oh, snap.
New York Post removes story about Jean Carroll's sex assault claim against Trump. Now, the subtext of a lot of these articles is that the New York Post loves Trump and didn't want him embarrassed. But no, what happened was everyone is realizing this person is a nut bar. A nut bar. And I've got some receipts. Trump's, by the way, his reaction is, I've never met this person in my life. She's trying to sell a new book. That should indicate her motivation. It should be sold in the fiction section. So first, let's check her on Anderson Cooper. And I love, by the way, I love the left playing dirty pool. And this sort of happened with the trannies. They said, all right, trans, you're our heroes now. Stand in front of us. We gave up on blacks because they're against gay marriage. Now you're our new pet. And then the trans started going, hello. And they went, yeah, get her out of here. So watching this happen, watching the left go, this isn't helping my agenda, it's a real treasure to watch.
Look at this body language, too.
Yeah, look at him recoil. I did not know you were nuts. This is not going to work out. You're actually bad for us, and you're getting Trump reelected, which is not what we were going for.
I was not thrown on the ground.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations.
What?
This was not sexual. It hurt. What hurt?
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
You know how
We're
on
gonna take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
oh great.
Is that Jane Lynch?
I
swear-
it does look like Jane Lynch.
I heard Judd Apatow go, cut. Perfect.
I think people think of rape as sexy. You'll notice on Halloween they'll have like a sexy fireman and a sexy Ghostbuster and a sexy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and a sexy rape.
Which, if you notice, it's just a rapist. The sexy's already built in. It's redundant.
Rare rape. What a loser. Yes, she does look like Jane Lynch. But then people start asking her about the dress. It worked with Monica Lewinsky. Let's have our own dress. Then this is great because we'll indict Trump, and then at the same time, we will eradicate the stigma that Bill Clinton has with dress. Now all the presidents have a dress. Win-win. There's only one risk. What if we're using a nut bar?
You have said that the coat dress that you were wearing, and we have a picture of it because you're on the front page of New York Magazine. This is exactly the outfit that you were wearing the day that you say the attack happened. You have kept that dress. You've never worn it again, you say. Have you ever dry cleaned it?
No. The thing is, we all have dresses. You just hang them in the closet. Something bad. You didn't have a good
23
time
years?
wearing it, and you never
Haven't
put
you
it on
moved like
again
6
because
times?
It's just a bad luck dress. I never felt like putting it on again. I did not turn it into a talisman. I didn't wrap
What's
it
a
in
coat
plastic.
dress,
I didn't
by the way?
think. I just
What's a
didn't want
talisman?
to put it on again.
I guess my question is
In respects to dresses.
could there be any DNA?
Yeah, just pause. Just
on
pause.
No
there?
idea. I do not.
Sometimes, just like a clock is right twice a day, sometimes you say something that's actually valid. Turn it into a talisman? So, so you have like a little, like the thing where you have you and your twin or whatever, or your 2 kids.
Oh, yeah,
in
a little
there.
heart locket.
Little heart locket. So you have some sort of a medallion, and you cut a piece of the dress, and you stick it in there. I don't know if you freeze it in amber, but you have some sort of medallion. You wear it around your neck, right? And people go, "That's nice. What is that? Looks like a piece of cloth." Yeah, it's from when I was raped by Donald Trump.
Goodbye.
I have to Purell my hands now. I touched your rape talisman. Your sexy rape talisman, by the way.
Well, technically, you didn't touch it. It was in petrified wood. So
Yes,
you're
so
good.
we're fine.
As most talismans are.
Petrified wood?
Yeah.
How do you get the dress into the petrified wood?
Ask her, man. I don't know. I don't make talismans.
I'm petrified of your
If the
IQ.
president ejaculated. Have no idea.
I guess
Just
the
pause.
reason I'm asking is because
So the contention is that he jumped on top of her, was aggressively molesting her in a way that was devoid of any sexual connotation, more like tickling or something, and then he may have ejaculated. A dog doesn't even do that. A dog jumps on someone and is going, "Ugh," and you go, "Get off." It doesn't have time to ejaculate. So this animal she's talking about, this animal is sub-dog. He's just like, it's like the Sasquatch that raped that guy
Right.
on the other episode. Should we still go with that? Yeah, keep going.
the mayor of New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio, who of course is running against President Trump, has said that if you were to bring a case forward, he will pursue it. He will have the New York City Police Department pursue it. So do you want to pursue this?
It is the greatest police department in the world. The detectives are great in New York. The thing is, it's past the time. It's
not.
Experts. I've been talking to experts, and they
big
say
part
that we've passed
The statute
legal.
of limitations.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, there was a statute of limitations in place at the time that this happened in late 1995 or 96. That has since changed. And Mayor de Blasio, when he heard your story, said that he would pursue on your behalf an investigation. And so you have the dress that you were wearing. You don't, I'm sure, still have the tights. But would you consider doing that?
I consider it, but the experts are telling me that.
So you've consulted lawyers.
Yeah, well, they've written to me. I've never consulted a lawyer in my life. It's not something I would do. They have, emailed me to tell me that,
Pause. That is the crux of this whole thing. They have emailed to tell me. So some lunatic who has a garbage book out, one of her many shit books, indicates that Donald Trump jumped on her and humped her like a St. Bernard. And she goes, I'll just say that. That might be good for the book. Maybe he did something. Maybe he's like, you look fantastic, and hit her ass or something, as was almost acceptable in 1995, especially when you run the city. And she goes, I'll use that event. I'll drum it up a bit and see how it goes. And then she gets inundated with calls and emails. And they go, okay, how are we going to do this? It's not looking good for a rape charge. I don't think we'll be able to do that. So don't say you're going to try. And they're probably just filling her head with all this stuff. And she's like, wow, this really exploded. Holy Toledo.
Oh, this is her when she was younger.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but definitely attractive, undeniably attractive. What would you say that is?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that's old now.
Is she, yeah, that is old.
But at her peak, I'd say she was a solid, definitely over an 8.
Wow.
At her peak.
Huh. Well, that's her right there. I don't know.
She's in her 40s there, dude. She was a cheerleader.
Oh. Oh, there she is. She looks kind of silly there.
Well, yeah, cheerleaders look silly. Isn't that kind of the point?
I suppose.
But we have more.
This past
There's
because
endless footage of this woman that the DNC... And guys, show some trepidation. By the way, we're guilty of this too. We're going to talk to a Nazi that we referenced in yesterday's show. And it'll show you that we sort of jumped the gun a little bit too, but not like this. Not cover of New York Magazine levels. They just threw her on the cover. And New York Magazine is ultimately run by gays. So it's just gay drama queens going, get her on the cover. This is a scoop of the century, girls.
Would you consider bringing a rape charge against Donald Trump for this? Why not?
It's too sexy.
I would find it disrespectful to the women who are down on the border, who are being raped around the clock down there without any protection.
Just pause. Just pause. That's true. Women who cross the border are getting raped to the tune of 80% by Mexicans.
Right.
The border guards, the implication there is that the border guards are raping them at detention centers and raping them on the border. Just rape.
Without protection.
No. And is it our job to go to Mexico and protect these people on Mexican soil and make sure they don't get raped? What are we, the world rape police now? Sorry, we have to draw the line somewhere. And I think a great place to draw a line, despite what the DNC wants you to believe, is at a border.
Yeah.
That seems like a good place to draw a line. At a line.
Isn't it weird that somebody who's being raped would think it's disrespectful that you would pursue your rape charge?
Yeah. Ladies, pursue all rape charges. If you're raped, don't worry about the context. Don't worry about how it may look on the global stage. If you are raped, call the police. If you are shot, if you are stabbed, call the police. Don't worry about how it looks to Guatemalans.
Look, she's got a drunk uncle demeanor.
Charge against Donald Trump for this? Why not?
I would find it disrespectful to the women who are down on the border, who are being raped around the clock.
She talks like a drunk driver who's been caught.
Yeah.
And is saying, I had 2 beers, and I was at my my niece's recital, and I am heading home now, feeling perfectly good. And I would not. The reason I'm not going to do a breathalyzer is because I think it would be disrespectful to people who
are actually drunk.
Can't breathe. To people who are suffocating right now around the world. By the way,
I'd be wasting my breath to prove you.
there's too much CO2 in the atmosphere, and I believe breathing out would add to that, and that'd be bad for the environment. So I'm gonna be holding my breath for the duration of our conversation. I hope you don't mind. Go ahead.
Down on the border, who are being raped around the clock down there without any protection. They're young women. They've, tried to come into the country. They're, as you know, they're there by the
thousands. She said that with the subtlety of like a New Jersey plumber.
They're what?
They're just down there getting raped around the clock.
Fucking raped and raped and raped.
You know, I thought it would be funny if she's this much of a loose cannon where she's like, they're just getting raped around the clock.
Well, it's sexy, though.
Oh, that's true.
Is that it for that one? Does she say anything else good? Because we have more, believe it or not.
She
the
does
women
say,
have very little protection.
That's the problem with being a blabbermouth for a quarter century. There's a lot of fodder.
she's fodderful.
I'm a mature woman. I can handle it. I can keep going. My life has gone on. I'm a happy woman. But for the women down there, and for the women actually around the world, in every culture this is going on.
Peru?
No matter high in society or low in society, it just seems disrespectful that I would bring it just doesn't make sense to me.
That's Mark Dice adding the cuckoo clock. So she was an Elle columnist, and she was on Charlie Rose with some guy named Jimmy. And they were talking about, again, how sexy rape is.
screwy, twisted things women do to prove that we love you.
Like what?
Bikini wax.
Yeah, but there's a lot of rules. You can't walk out of the cave of the club and drag a woman back.
Equality has made it
But
better.
Jimmy, women love that.
Or near equality has made it a lot.
Do you know?
like
Just
that.
pause. You know what she's saying? So he's saying, you know, you can't. It's whatever it is, 1980. You can't just get out of your cave with your club and club a woman and then drag her back to your cave. And then she says, "But Jimmy, we love that. We love being bonked on the head with a giant club like Captain Caveman." And then the last thing, I just looked on her Wikipedia. She here's true insanity in a nutshell, and it's a danger with feminism. When she worked at Playboy, she told her editors that modern women run around complaining that they want a primitive man, back to the cave thing. So I thought it would be fun to come to New Guinea and find a real one. Papua New Guinea, where they have these untouched tribes of people who are often cannibals and who do things like bungee jump onto the ground. In New Guinea, the Aboriginal tribes will bungee jump, but they don't have bridges, so they just hit the ground fairly hard. Maybe you can find that. Carol hiked into the Star Mountains with an Atbalman tracker and Telfomin warrior. She became the first white woman to walk from Telfomin to Moonbill in the former West Irian Jaya and nearly died. That's your source, folks. There she is. You got it. Bonk. Oops. Ooh, that's very painful. How long ago were we doing stuff like that? 250,000 years? Jumping off a bamboo thing and smashing our heads on the ground. It's a show of your manhood, too, to hit the ground. Really, really hard.
Six Flags Wakanda.
All right. In other news,